This never gets old. This does not get old, man. Right? Winning is contagious.
It's a Victory Friday. Do we get these? All right, that's what happens when you get Thursday Night Football and you walk away with a win. Welcome to Teal, the show. Jamal St. Cyr alongside Frank Frangie. Frank, I was talking to Evan Ingram and Andre Cisco during the week, and they said, these extra days off after Thursday Night Football are great, but they're only fun if you walk away with a win.
And I tell you what, they walked away with a very impressive win. I didn't think they were going to win that game. It's a tough game, short weeks. History has told us that these short weeks, Thursday games are hard on the road. They found a way to win. They weren't at their best, and a good team finds a way to win when they're not at their best. That was a good win for the Jags.
That's right. Those are the types of wins that good teams get. Now, the conversation all throughout the week was, will Trevor Lawrence play? He injured his knee against the Indianapolis Colts in a short week as they get ready for Thursday Night Football. So it was a fair question. Doug Peterson even said after the game, if you'd have asked him on Monday, he didn't think Trevor would go. All of the teammates, everyone was impressed with what Trevor Lawrence was able to do out on the field.
It just, again, shows the type of person he is and the unselfishness that he has. And I saw it last year when he got injured. He got injured in the Detroit game, and he battled with injury throughout the course of the rest of the, through the rest of the year and gutted that out. This is different. This is a short week. And on Monday, I would have told you that he was not playing in this football game on Monday. But that's not who Trevor is. Again, proud of his effort.
It felt pretty good. I was happy with it and didn't bother me too much. Definitely didn't, set it back. So I'm really, really happy with it. That was the goal, is play, find a way to win the game, and not set it back. And we'll get 10 days now to recover and get ready for Pittsburgh.
It means a lot when the quarterback is able to play through an injury like that and then go play well. That shows something to his teammates.
Something about being a leader is being out there when you can. And he was able to play, and he did play, and he played great. Look, I've decided the rest of my broadcast career, I'm going to wear a knee brace because he was so good with that knee brace. He ran. He had his career high in rushing, 59 yards. He led the Jags in rushing. There were some big runs, too. I thought he hung in that pocket. I thought one time on a run, he cut it back into the middle of the field. I thought he should have stepped out of bounds to protect his knee. He's a tough-nosed guy, and he played at a great level. That was a big win for the Jags. You're right, Jamal. Trevor Lawrence showed one more time why he's not just a really good player, but a really good leader and a guy they all respect. He could have easily said, listen, my knee's sore. It's a short week. We got a long off after that. He said, no way. I'm playing in that football game, and they were all impressed with that.
One interesting note from Trevor after the game is he said his record in the Superdome kind of played a little bit of factor of him wanting to play. Trevor Lawrence didn't have many losses in college. The ones he had came in the Superdome. Also, Jaguars had never won in the Superdome up until last night. And for one guy that I think got lost in the shuffle for the House of Horrors to what New Orleans had been, Travis Etienne, he was also there for those Clemson losses. But you also think back to when he hurt that Liz Frank injury during the preseason as a rookie in the NFL. That was in the Superdome. And Travis is a guy from Louisiana, so being able to get a win in the Superdome probably meant a lot to him.
They demolished a lot of demons in that loss. You're exactly right. Had not won there, Travis Etienne had all had troubles there. But, boy, they played well in this football game. I thought right when the game started, I thought their first drive or two, that offense looked as good as it's looked all year long. They were ready to play. Great win. They had to hold on a little bit because that's what the NFL is, but a great win for the Jags.
All right, before we go any farther, we got to give Travis Etienne a little bit of flowers here. He is the first player in Jaguars franchise history with 3 games of 2 or more rushing touchdowns. Right. And when you start rattling off some of the names of running backs in Jaguars history, you're like, nobody's ever done that before? Well, Travis Etienne's done it now.
People don't realize how good he is. I'm glad you brought that up. Travis Etienne is a really, really good player. I don't think people realize the level that this guy plays at. He's a very good player. He's fast. You know what made Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor so good? In addition to being tough and physical, and they were fast, man. He gets that corner turned on the one touchdown, boom, he's gone. Great player, and boy, he's a big part of that offense.
All right, this Jaguars team is starting to find their footing. They're starting to get rolling a little bit at this point. Now they're on a nice winning streak, and the way they're getting them done isn't maybe even the way we expected them to get the job done going into the season. I think Foye Oluokun said after the game that this team is gritty. He said gritty, not pretty, because gritty means they walked away with a win, and maybe even if it wasn't as pretty as some of us wanted it to be, a win's a win.
We ain't got no Hollywood people on this team. We're all gritty. Like I'm saying, we're fighters. Trevor coming out and fighting for us. We're going to fight for him.
Like, I think he's got that right on the head. You need those kind of players. You need to be able to get those gritty, ugly wins. That's what good teams do.
The good teams have a certain kind of player, and they respond to each other very well. This Jaguar team really does that. We talk about culture. Culture is the most overused word in sports. I know that. But it works here. They're tough. It's a blue-collar mentality. And look, the story of this season has been that defense. We all knew the offense would be pretty good. That defense, Josh Allen leading the charge as a pass rusher, you still think you wish they had another pass rusher or two, but the toughness of that defense, those two linebackers, Oluwakin and Devin Lloyd playing at a great level. Monteric Brown comes off the bench, has never started a game. Darius Williams having a very good year. The safeties are playing well. The story of this season so far, 7 games in, is how good that Jaguars defense has been. It has been really, really good. Big part of the win.
All right, the Jaguars are wrapping up what has been a very tough stretch of football games. 3 games, 3 different locations, 3 different time zones. Jaguars walked away winners of all 3 of them. Coming up after the break here on Teal the Show, we'll start to talk about a little bit of what's next, and we'll have Frank Frangie give out his game ball from last night's big game. That's coming up next when Teal the Show returns. All right, welcome back into Teal the Show. Look, the game was last night on Thursday, Frank, so this one's a fresh game ball. If you get to hand out the game ball to one player, who is it?
Here's what I'm going to do. Trevor deserves a game ball because he played hurt. He played with a bad knee. He ran the ball. He played great. So ordinarily, I would give it to him. I'm giving the game ball to Monteric Brown. First career start. They really attacked him a week ago, so there's tape on him now. So you would think the Saints are going to be able to attack him, and he was equal to it the entire time. He got beat for 1 touchdown when Michael Thomas made a great play, but he was equal the entire time, knocked a bunch of balls away, including the game winner, headed for Chris Olave at the end of the game. I thought Monteric Brown was terrific. He never backed down. They didn't protect him, by the way. They still blitzed and did their stuff and asked him to play out on an island. I thought he was terrific. So for me, the game ball goes to Monteric Brown.
I love that pick, because I said it leading into the game. If Trevor Lawrence wasn't hurt, we'd have been talking a whole lot more about the fact that Tyson Campbell was and wasn't going to play. But it kind of got lost in the shuffle of the Trevor Lawrence knee narrative that was going around, because Tyson Campbell is fantastic, a big player for the defense. Monteric Brown has been there, hadn't really gotten a chance to show a ton of what he could do out on the football field. This was his first opportunity this season, and he took it, and he ran with it.
Here's the storyline that's developed, by the way. Tyson Campbell's going to come back. Yeah. And when he does, now you've got depth at cornerback, and now you know you've got depth. We didn't think they had depth at cornerback. No. Everybody, let's be honest. You worried if either of those guys got hurt, Trey Herndon, Darius Williams, or Tyson, oh boy, they're in trouble. We all thought that. The truth of the matter is Monteric Brown stepped up. That is a big, big win for the Jags.
All right, now let's talk about what's next for the team. They've had 3 games, a short period of time, but now they get a little bit of a break. A mini bye is what they're calling it here. You get the mini bye here as they get ready for Pittsburgh, and then they get that real bye week. Doug Peterson says he wants the players and the coaches to take this time, kind of rest as they start to get ready for that last game before the bye week.
We've got to take advantage of the next 3 days. Players have got to get healthy, live in the training room, and all of that. But at the same time, I want them to, kind of take this mini break, mini bye, and coaches do the same thing, kind of get away, clear their heads.
A little extra rest at this time of the season is always good. They're a little bit banged up team right now. Medical staff's definitely been working hard, but they still do have one more game before they get that full week off.
And I'll tell you, if you look at what they've done, what this team has been able to accomplish, you think about this. 10 days in London, 2 different locations. They practiced at one place, played a game, won it, then they had to move everything, go to another location, another practice field, another hotel. They found a way to win it 10 days away from their families. These are young guys now with young families. They won both games. They came back here and played a rival that was playing pretty well. It was a kind of a battle for first place. They won that game. Then that short week on the road against a really good defensive team and won that game. Those 4 wins in a row aren't just 4 wins in a row, Jamal. They won 4 games in a row in a very, very tough setting in the best football league in the world. This is good stuff. They have a really good team. You can't do what they did without having a really good football team. They've earned that time off. The mini bye now and then the big bye after the Pittsburgh game, they've earned it.
I feel like early in the year when we kept telling folks not to press the panic button, don't worry too much. It'll all come together. It's coming together now. This time last year, October was a bad month. It was spooky for the team. They went 0-5. Right. They've got 5 games in October. They've already played 4 of them. 4-0 through October. It just tells you that this is a little bit of a different Jaguars team than even a year ago. They've kind of figured it out. They are figuring it out. Even though they haven't played their best football, they're still getting wins, and that's what's important.
But I'm telling you, Jamal, it's still a league of peaks and valleys. It's a really hard league, man. It's physical, it's tough. So there's going to be another valley somewhere along the line. I think the key thing to remember, we talked about this, like you said, is remember this thing's a marathon, man. The season starts around Labor Day and it ends on Valentine's Day. That's a long season, and you have to. There's going to be peaks and valleys, but this is a peak, and they've earned this. I'll tell you this: this is a team. This team could win the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl, but there's about 7 or 8 teams that could. The Chiefs could, the Lions, I think, could, the Eagles obviously could, the Dolphins probably could, the Ravens. There's about 6 or 7 that could win the Super Bowl, and they're one of those. When have we ever been able to say that? It's been a long time.
It's definitely been a long time, so savor the ride. The Jaguars are 5-2 right now, almost to the bye week. I don't think any of us felt like they were going to be 6-2 going into the bye week, but that's a legitimate possibility right now. Next week here on Teal the Show, we'll talk a little bit more about the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the next team on the schedule. We'll start getting you ready on Monday night. Frank, thanks for being here. Thank you at home for tuning in. Good night, everybody, and go Jags.